Hello, everyone. Welcome to Neelam Saxena page. And today we are here for the English Poetry Meet. And this is the 61st English Poetry Meet on Neelam Saxena page. And I have the honor to have some of the very beautiful and amazing poets here with me today. So let me introduce you to our lovely poets. We have Satinder Kaurji. Satinder Kaurji is a trilingual poet and a short story writer. Her writings are a part of several national and international magazines, journals, and anthologies. She participated as a guest poet in World Poetry Conferences 4 and 5. She's MA and MPhil in English and MSc in Physics. She retired as an associate professor and head PG Department of English, Kanya Mahavidyalaya Jalandhar, rendering a valuable service of teaching postgraduate and undergraduate students for about 45 years. That's a big feat.
Thank
Most
you.
welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Now I would like to welcome Dr. Rupali Sarkar Kaur. Rupali Sarkar Kaur ji, she's a PhD, is a retired professor of English at Delhi University and is a widely published bilingual poet, performer, travel writer, environmentalist, social justice, and animal activist. Her poems are housed at Stanford University's Digital Humanities Initiative, Life in Quarantine, Witnessing Global Pandemic, and in the University of Bath's transnational project. She has written for peer reviewed journals and served on academic conference panels worldwide. Dr. Rupali has co edited 14 international volumes of poetry. Committed to working for the welfare of military families, she is a social activist, a conservationist, and a founder member of Yuvati, a non profit organization. Her novel Porridge and I, Growing Up with India, has been recently published by Author Press. You're most welcome on the platform. Now, I would like to call Dr. Pooja Agarwal. Dr. Pooja Agarwal is an assistant professor at the Department of English and Modern European and Other Foreign Languages, School of Languages, Chhatrapati Sahuji Maharaj University, Kanpur. She has her degree in English literature from the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur. Dr. Agarwal has researched extensively on ecofiction and feminism. Her academic research has been published extensively in national and international journals, including the University of Warsaw's Anglica. She is also a creative writer. That's why we have her here. Her short stories and poems have been widely published in both print and online media, including Sahitya Academy's Indian Literature and Muse India. Her first anthology of poems, Wordless, was published by the Rivers Press in 2022. You're most welcome on the platform. We also have Anju Kapoor ji. Anju Kapoor is a bilingual poet and abstract expressionist artist based in Bahrain. With a postgraduate degree in banking from Mumbai, she finds catharsis in poetry and ekphrastic art. Her work, exhibited locally and featured in global anthologies, embodies raw emotion and truth, fostering deep connections across cultures and expressions, artistic platforms. She has recently had the honor and a grand opportunity to recite her poems on a prestigious platform organized by the Indian Embassy Bahrain. celebrating International Hindi Divas, as well as featuring her art on display. Now, we also have one more poet from Bahrain, Pallavi Jainji. Born in India, former chemistry professor Pallavi is an inspiring figure, seamlessly blending her passions for writing, art, and the environment. Her journey as a writer is deeply connected to the natural world, her constant inspiration, and creative essence. For Pallavi, poetry transcends aesthetics, serving as a meditative path to self discovery and inner understanding. Her poems have been published in international anthologies. She is a bilingual poet and an active member of various international poetry groups. She has a blog, pallavigoa.wordpress.com, which is a collection of Hindi and English poems. Pallavi is also an amazing artist and recently had a successful solo art exhibition in Bahrain. Am I not right, Pallavi? Such a platter of creativity here, right now on this platform. So, without delaying it, I would like to start this event and invite Satinder ji to start the event.
Thank you, Asha ji, for this beautiful introduction of each one of us. And we would like to have your introduction also from one of us. Uh, but then I start with my poem. But before starting my poem, I would like to pay my regard to this portal LWG and my gratitude to Madam Neelam Saxena, who keeps on giving us opportunities to be here and to meet so many people from across the globe and listen to the poets and poetesses and learn a lot from them. So, this is a great opportunity, and I have always liked to be here whenever I get a chance to be here. So, I would start with my poem. It is a tribute to our armed forces, Indian armed forces, and this is a tribute to those people, those soldiers, valiant soldiers, who give us a strong shield of protection from every type of difficult situation, may it be external threats from enemies, may it be some natural disaster, or it may be something else which we civilians cannot solve by ourselves. So, I have written a poem on the valiant, uh, these valiant soldiers, and just now we have been through Operation Sindoor, and I thought I should like to say something about the bravery of our soldiers. You stand as mountains, silent, tall, and strong. You stand as mountains, silent, tall, and strong, while storms of danger swirl and rage along. With eyes like hawks, you scan each borderline. With eyes like hawks, you scan each borderline. Your courage forged in fire, pure and benign. Your courage forged in fire, pure and benign. When we sleep wrapped in dreams so sweet, when we sleep wrapped in dreams so sweet, you walk the night, no time for you to sleep. You walk the night, no time for you to sleep. Like sentinels carved from steel and flame, unknown, unsung, least expecting any fame. Unknown, unsung, least expecting any fame. You hold the sky, the land, the tide. You hold the sky, the land, the tide. In fighter jets and tanks you ride. In fighter jets and tanks you ride. A thunderous shield of courage and might. A thunderous shield of courage and might. You keep our dawns forever bright. You keep our dawn forever bright. You are not just warriors. You are not just warriors born for war. You bring relief when rivers swell and earthquakes tear. With tender hands, you lift the weak. With tender hands, you lift the weak. Your resilience, dedication, selflessness being always at the peak against the shadowed face of hate. You strike with justice, calm, and faith. Against the shadowed face of hate, you strike with justice, calm, and faith to root out terror from their very source. Your focus on your action, never thinking of any applause. To root out terror from their very source, you focus on your action, never thinking of any applause. And oh, the price you pay is so steep, and oh, the price you pay is so steep. Your children cry, your mothers weep, yet still you rise again and again. Yet still you rise again and again, unbent by loss, unbroke by pain. Unbent by loss, unbroke by pain. How do we thank you? How do we thank you? How can we repay for the lives you have given us day after day? For the lives you have given us day after day. A million salutes will not suffice. A million salutes will not suffice. You are the soul of sacrifice. India sleeps beneath your wing. India sleeps beneath your wing. You are the reason our freedom sings. You are the reason our freedom sings. Thank you.
Very beautiful
Such
poem.
a beautiful poem, Satyendraji. You are so right. We can dream because we know that they are guarding the borders.
Yeah,
And we cannot thank our armed forces enough for
yeah,
giving us such beautiful nights and dreamy nights to say. Very beautiful poem.
thank you.
Thank you so much, Satyendraji. With that,
Thank
we will move to the next poet, and I would like to invite Dr. Rupali Sarkar Kaurji to present her first poem.
Thank you so much, Asha, for inviting me to read my poem, and thank you, Neelam Saxena, for creating this forum. I like the word warrior because I think through literature we fight many battles. We say many things that can change the world, and especially, it's a very special day today, the 30th of May. Our first group of women cadets are passed out from the National Defense Academy. I think we give a clap to them that this is historic. It's a historical day. And,
True.
of course, I've had to, with my poem, Raghu, I would have read that. I wrote warrior, because now what will come wrapped in the national flag will be women also, women soldiers. We already have them. You saw them recently speaking for India. And the poem that I've written, because most of my poems are really based on real life, things that I have touched my heart a lot. So this poem is called Dear Amma and Appa. Now, our children go away to foreign countries. Many of you, as on this forum itself, are in Bahrain, another country. Parents visit, and They are also invited to come there when the babies are coming to take care of the children. But the same mother who cooked whatever you ask for now can't cook the things that she wants to because it's going to smell and the neighbors are not going to like it and the smell is going to hang around. So this is called Dear Amma and Appa. Like a colorful kite flying in the sky, their happiness soared. They read the letter again and again, singing a lullaby. Amma wrapped avakai pickle, masala papadum, and sambar powder, winging over oceans, mountains, across continents, to the joyous birthing of a grandchild. They wanted to shout and tell everybody. Now silence quietly joined them. Tennis shoes peeped from under the Kanchipuram olive blue sari. In Govinda Swami's ears, the harsh echo did not still. Amma, no sambar or pickle. Veena gets nauseous. And Appa, no incense burning here, please. You should have left your God behind in Villupuram. This is the United States of America. Why can't you eat civilized food? 6 exhausted, babysitting, and craving months later, they were returning to their many benevolent gods and the tucked away taste of home. Savitri lit the diya. Lord Murugan, bless our children, she whispered in Tamil. Lord Murugan, bless our children. So they returned home, having been denied the India that they know. And this is a true story, and it's repeated so much all over the world. So, all of you young people, when your parents visit, please let them cook and eat the things they like. That's my request.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rupali ji. I told you that, of course, you know what, when you sent me your poem, I read it and it was beautiful. But it cannot be compared with the way you recited it. Every emotion came alive. We could feel the pain of those parents who were
The
called
scent,
uncivilized.
Thank you
the
so much.
scent and taste of sambar and papad and pickle, everything is here on my tongue also.
We're savoring the taste.
Absolutely. And with that, we will move to the next poet for the evening. I would like to invite Dr. Pooja Agarwal to come and recite her first poem.
Thank you, Ashaji, and a very good evening to everybody. Thank you, LWG, for this opportunity. This is my first time, and I look forward to reciting my poetry. Before I do that, a very brief introduction to the kind of poems I write. Predominantly, they are basically divided into two strains. One is the feminist, just for the want of another term. It's a feminist strain where I question the established norms of society, and on the opposite contrast of it are the love poems, where there is an absolute surrender towards the beloved, and that surrender need not necessarily be a surrender of the body, but a surrender of soul. And also, that beloved need not necessarily be a human beloved, but could be, or maybe, or not even a beloved as in the way we understand the word, but only someone or some entity that holds your faith. So, this what the first poem that I'm about to recite is Beloved, and it's about more than anything else, it is about annihilation in love. I rise and swirl as the opaque moon pulls me towards its haunting charm, like that of a crystal globe, promising occult revelations, sinisterly appealing a sinful aphrodisiac. I writhe and quiver to break free, like a many hooded serpent in the hands of a merciless and mysterious charmer, as I hiss and sizzle and spit foam, furious in desperation, prisoner of another world. As I rise and swell, fall and reach out, my arms spread out in frustration, I yearn to scatter and die like a thousand petaled flower. You know, like a flower completely gets scattered, its petals completely get scattered. So, like a thousand petaled flower at the feet of my Lord Divine, as I wait to break and melt like a crashing wave into the open arms of my beloved. Thank you.
That is so beautiful. It sounds like a complete surrender. A complete surrender, spiritual poetry where you want to just give in to the the supreme power. I wouldn't say anything because we all have different beliefs as far as the Almighty is concerned. We know him or her with different names.
Yes.
So I see it as a supreme power. So let's just go by that. A beautiful poem of
Thank you.
complete surrender. Uh, and I would like to invite if anyone wanted to say anything about this poem. Okay, if not, then we will move on to our next poet, and I will be listening to her for the first time. The stage is yours, Anju Kapoorji. Please come and recite your first poem.
Thank you so much, Asha, for this beautiful and wonderful introduction that you have bestowed upon all of us here today. I thank Neelam for giving us this wonderful opportunity and a platform where we can to express ourselves without any hinge in our heart. You know, it's a platform where we are so aware of our feelings and we have no second thoughts of how to self-express ourselves here. Is that's the beauty of this platform. So, as Kavita also, she believes in writing poems on love. I too have a strong sense towards that. My being is quite dedicated towards writing poems on love and on womanhood, because I think she's an entity who has to be celebrated every day, irrespective of any festivals or a special day. For us, for I think the whole world, every woman, the way she strives is a celebration in a day itself. So my first poem pays a tribute to every glorious journey of a woman, speaking of the seasons of womanhood. It's a woman who is an entity who fights against all odds, from the radiant beginnings to the quiet resilience of wisdom acclaimed. My poem title, Chapters of Her. It is the first day of a flowery spring, and in her mother's unconfined godly womb she arrives. A tapestry of bright hues shone on her infant face. She was the mirror, prism, and carousel light placed. How beautiful she looked, with every charm on her face laced. The lavender bark of youth is very fragrant. Her silken strands and starched shirt makes a statement. And that's quite a vivid statement because she has a hold upon herself at that stage of her life. She felt good in her glowing skin, walking on an ambitious path. Her youthful journey begins. Is the confidence ridden by beauty alone? I ask, or her wisdom as well be spoken. The olive tree then goes dormant in winters of midlife. Perceptions of relationships percolate in diurnal rhythms. The mist of yesteryears of very somber melancholy. She was alone, single, and drearily lonely. Touching the matured lines on her face over years, she contemplates. She contemplates now that beauty dwindles. Is it brawn or the brain that gives her an edge in the race? Nothing remains the same, she asks. She says to herself, seasons of colors must change. Her inner voice in pink skies sing to her. She rejects every conventional societal woe to blur. Today, doors of a rainbow in vast skies open ajar. She strides with renewed confidence in her new avatar. Her silver hair in sunshine glistens, holding an aging twig of sage. Her purpose to life rekindles. She knows an acquired wisdom is essentially from her own lived experience. That's my point for today. Thank you.
That was so vivid and so beautifully presented. The
Thank you,
journey
Ashita.
of a woman to herself is
Herself.
never easy, as she has always been defined by others mostly superficially and never by her own self until she realizes she will have to.
Thank you
Such a
so much,
beautiful.
Anne.
Lovely
Thank you
poem,
Anju,
so much.
Anju. Very
if I
well
may,
recited.
Thank you
if
so much.
if I may, Anjushi, your poetry was so beautifully reminiscent of Sarojini Naidu in many ways, and
Thank you.
as a compliment.
That's a huge honor. That's a huge honor.
Yes,
It's
yes,
just, it's like we are all in the middle ages now. We're all middle aged now. So we really understand that how
right,
our lives have curved through, many ups and downs, and how we have curved ourselves initially, but then now is a time that we have to come out of that cave and,
well,
be very self expressive towards ourselves. That's very, very important. At least we owe that much to us as women,
very beautiful.
that we live
True.
for ourselves now. Yeah.
Very beautiful.
True.
Absolutely. So,
Thank you
after
so
that
much.
beautiful poem, Anjuji, we will move on to our next poetess, Pallavi Jainji from Bahrain.
Hi, good evening, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank Neelam Saxena ji for providing us such a beautiful platform where without any hesitation, we share our thoughts. I mean, poets basically, we write our emotions, our thoughts as a poem. So thank you so much. And Asha ji, lovely program, lovely. Uh, you introduced us so beautifully. So
Thank you so much.
yeah, thanks for the opportunity. So my poem titled Polar Bear. Actually, I mostly, whatever I write, whether it's emotion or about any person or any incidents, I use imagery of nature because I'm an environmentalist. I do a lot of work for environment as well. So in this poem, Polar Bear, it's about any person who find themselves in a new environment or unknown surroundings. So here it goes, Polar Bear. Sometimes I feel like a polar bear. Sometimes I feel like a polar bear in the rainforest, undeniably unassociated. I am a misfit here, constantly searching for somewhere safe to find others like me. It is scary and lonely too. Survival is difficult here. This is not where I belong. But I'm a polar bear. I'm a polar bear adopted to life on the ice covered Arctic. I have learned to be thick skinned and to sniff out opportunities. I know, I know hibernation is not an option here. To survive, I have to stand tall. To survive, I have to stand tall. I will have to accept my destiny. I will have to accept my destiny and turn it in my favor. And turn it in my favor. Thank you so much.
What a beautiful poem, Pallavi.
Thank
I,
you.
when I started listening to your poem, I was trying to connect it to the environment, and by the end you finished it, I felt like it was about a woman who is, sometimes by force, sometimes willingly, she has to leave everything that she is accustomed to and move to a completely new environment where she has to adapt, whether she
True.
wants to or not. So this is what
Yes.
I got from your poem. It was
It
beautiful.
is, I mean, it's everybody's own, perception, how they take this
Yeah,
poetry. It's about environment, it's about a woman, or it's about any person. So
Anyways.
yeah, everything
absolutely.
was going on in my, mind when I was writing this one. Yeah,
Adaptation, the key
Yes,
to existence.
of course it is.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Very
So
relatable and very beautiful.
Very
thank
nice,
you so much.
Pallavi.
Thanks, Sanjana.
Everyone can identify herself with
True.
whatever she has shown us in the poem.
Yes.
Thank you, Nitinder ji. So let's introduce our host now. Let's welcome her, Asha Singh Gaur. She's an author, editor, and translator. She has authored two books, four anthologies, and of which she has edited two and has translated two novels. And she has translated several stories and more than 40 comic books. Wow, that's amazing. I mean, yeah. She is also an artist and certified dream analyst. That's interesting, Asha ji. Wow. So
Thank you so much.
I would like to let's hear what she has to say through her poem. You're welcome, Asha ji, please.
Thank you so much, Pallavi for that beautiful introduction. So, most of LWG knows me as a poet who writes mostly in Hindi. It was only after joining LWG that I started writing regularly in English as well. So, the credit for this goes completely to the group. The poem that I'm reciting today is What Do Phenomenal Women Do? So I have nothing more to say except for this poem. What do phenomenal women do? Do they move the mountains? Or jump oceans in a single leap? Or touch the skies in a jump as Wonder Women of the Amazon? Do they hit the boxing rings and claim the gleaming winning trophies? Do they head the multinationals and make the men feel green about their unapologetic female confidence? Aren't they making satellites and dating galaxies as astronauts? Do they lead military troops and travel to new destinations, making the society distraught? Yes. Phenomenal women do all that, and they mirror Mother Nature by creating a new life and nurturing it. They hold it close to their heart and sing them lullabies when it is dark, tirelessly catering to all their needs, mending all the fractures and stringing the scattered beads. They are teachers, mothers, sisters, and wives. They are in the kitchen in professional strides. Every woman in this world is phenomenal. They make this world more beautiful and bearable. There is one thing that I want them to know. There is just one thing that I want them to know. They should learn how to say no. They should learn how to say no.
Yeah. Good one.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Say no.
Oh,
In fact,
well
we all
said.
feel
Very
very proud
nice.
after hearing your poetry today.
Yeah. I second that. Very nice.
Thank you so
Lovely.
much. I think that is the only thing that we can't do because we have always been told that a woman is a multitasker. But why we have to be a multitasker?
Yeah.
We just burn ourselves.
True.
So yeah, and with that we have come to the end of the first round, and I can see that there are a lot of people who have joined us. Satveer Chatterjee is here, and she says, "Superb, dear. Women are a phenomenon. Of course, they are." Thank you, Satveer ji. We have Gayatri Joshi ji, we have Anita Panda ji, and we have Gurcharan Kaur ji. Neelam Saxena ji has joined us. So they have been sending a lot of comments. I would request all of you to please go back to the video and check the comments and please reply. There are wonderful comments coming your way. Uh, I would also take this time to announce that the third edition of Literary Warriors Group's Litfest, which is called Bhasha and Beyond 3.0, is decided and will be uh, it will be in Pune, CME Dapodi in October, month of October, 4th and 5th of October. So if you are a literary enthusiast, a poet, a writer, or published author, it is a beautiful chance for you to join in. And we would love to have you there. So go on our Instagram, Facebook, get more information and register as soon as possible. Okay, with that, we come back to the second round of this beautiful evening. In the second round, I would love to invite Anju Kapoorji to recite her second poem.
Thank you, Asha. That was quite quick. I'm back again. That being said, my second poem speaks of a somber, melancholic note on love, where my poem resonates with a heart that once loved freely, but now it bears the weight of pain and mistrust. And in that very somber emotion, what I had been experiencing, I get very inspired of writing what I have experienced, and even being I'm vulnerable, I don't feel afraid of being true to my emotions. I try to be as organic as possible because I think a poet must write from the heart with it. So that's always my take, and it gives me a huge wind when I'm done with it. So poetry to me is
True.
being as honest as possible as a writer. And in the somber emotion, this aching love is deeply felt by the protagonist. Now that could be anybody amongst all of us, but that's where my poem is going to be leading to. Once I loved. Once I loved without abandon, like a river flowing wild and free. There were no walls, no doubts, no questions, just the pull of a pure possibility. I gave myself like rainfall to the thirsty, believing love was a flood meant for all. But then river carve through mountains too, and even freedom drowns when storms swell unkind. Now love stalks like a shadowed beast, teeth bared, eyes unblinking. In the dark, I flinch at its breath. Trust bleeds from wounds still weeping in the past, salt crusted, red and raw, where hope once whispered and fear still claws. Each time I dare to offer from this beaten, weathered heart. The past then rises, a tide that denies, dragging me back to empty. And I wonder quietly if I will ever be enough. Was I the flood they feared, where all they wanted was the gentleness of rain? My heart, once river soft, now stone armored, still remembers how it loved. Thank you. That's my second point for today.
Beautiful,
Wow, that's
beautiful.
bold and beautiful, profound.
Thank you so
Loved
Absolutely.
much.
it.
So it is said that once you love with complete trust and complete surrender, and you meet with betrayal, it becomes very difficult to trust someone again. And
Absolutely.
you build a wall around yourself. And the same tenderness with which you had started, you crave for that, but you're not able to. It is such a
Absolutely.
touching and beautiful poem. Very, very beautiful, Anjuji.
Thank you so much, Amshad. Thank you.
Yes, and I can see Satbir Chadhaji saying, touching, splendid.
Thank you so much.
Satbirji also mentioned that there are as many men too who can't say no. And I completely agree.
Yeah.
Everyone who wishes to move ahead in life, there has to be a balance between yes and no. And sometimes we falter, we are humans. So, with that, we move ahead, and I would love to invite Dr. Pooja Agarwal to recite her second poem.
Thank you, Ashaji. So, my second poem is, in fact, an extension of the first one. The first one talked about surrender, it talked about being surrendered at the feet of the beloved like a thousand petal flower, and each petal bursting in a new direction, in a different direction. So, this is a very short poem, and in this, the protagonist is asking, what would I rather be? That's a question that the poet is asking, or the poet persona. If not me, then what would I rather be? If not me, then what would I rather be? I could be the tall mountains that beckon, or the vast seas that soothe. I could be the tall mountains that beckon, or the vast seas that soothe. I could be a giant oak that gives shelter to all folks. Or I could be the autumn leaves, painted in the shades of the misty woods, gently whispering divine secrets as if fallen touched the earth. Or I could simply be a really cute, cuddly pup whose every gesture contains a hug. But what would I rather be? For I'd much rather be a blossom, for it cannot help but radiate fragrance, and oh, how much more when it is crushed like kernels. Thank you.
That's a
Beautiful.
beautiful poem, Kavita.
Puja.
Puja,
Pooja.
sorry. Puja.
Thank you. Thank you.
Really beautiful. And with that beautiful poem, we would move to the next poet, and Rupali ji, I invite you with your second poem.
Thank you, Asha. Uh, this evening has unraveled a mystery for me. My children call their parents, that's me and their father, polar bears. I always wondered why. I could never figure out. But I think this evening I have understood that perhaps they see some of that tenacity of the polar bear in us. Now, the poem I'm going to read this evening is a bit, it's a bit complex, perhaps because it's an experience, and it's a divine experience. From the time I was a little kid, I used to really wonder what people talk about God, and what is it, what is it that they feel? Why do they keep, talking? You hear of great writers and poets and sages, they all seen God, and would I ever know who he was? And then I had, three experiences in which I actually touched God. So this is one of them. Now this happened in Jaisalmer during just the day before the desert festival. So I had gone there with an American gentleman who was nearly 80 years old, and a soldier who was, getting on my nerves because he was driving very fast, and this is three of us. And we went to the sand dune, and we climbed up onto the sand dune. And at that time, the sun was setting and the moon was rising. I mean, that was the moment. And because the next day was the desert festival, there were these musicians, they called the Langadas. They sing these Sufi songs. They sing Bulle Shah and so on and so forth. And so they were passing by, so I called them. And I said, I want to hear you. So they came up and they wanted to sing this very famous song that's a film song, Nimura Nimura. I don't know if you've heard it. But I said, no, I want to hear the real songs, of Bunesha and so on. And they said that nobody wants to hear them, but we'll sing. So when they began to sing, at that moment, the sun was setting and the moon was rising, and there was a nano moment in which I really, really saw God. I don't know if it will ever happen to me again, but it did. So this is called the sands of time. The sun turned deep red as it sank into the undulating sand. The full faced moon rose in an ecstatic upward journey. The sand dune drew me in as the setting sun and the rising moon enveloped me in a gossamer, mystic moment. The Langra bards, singing their plaintive notes, stopped to see their everyday miracle. As their full throated song filled the desert air, my soul left my body. I flew into a realm of deep unconsciousness from where I rose to touch the divine in a nano flash in which I saw the awesome, beatific face of Lord Shiva. Rippling blue muscles covered in ashes, the mighty Ganga flowing out of his hair. Neelkant holding forever the poison pot in his throat, a Christ nailed to the cross. The sun turned deep red as it sank into the undulating sun. The full faced moon rose in an ecstatic upward journey. The dune again drew me in as a setting sun and the rising moon enveloped me. Thank you so much. I mean, I'm so moved by this moment because I also want to mention something that when we see God, I mentioned Christ here, when we see God, there is no single face of God.
True. Absolutely. As we discussed, we all
You can call him
know
Allah, you
God.
can call him Shiva, you can call him Krishna, you can call him Christ. They're all the same.
I think it's just
True.
the energy which envelopes us and around us. And we have to feel that energy, that
And
divinity.
Lord Shiva, with the poison in his throat, holding it there so that we live. There's the same picture that Christ on the cross, dying for so that others may live. So for
True.
me, it just merges into one.
It is a
Absolutely. And we
spiritual
have,
experience. A spiritual experience you have had at
Yeah.
that time.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And we have some beautiful comments coming here. Pooja ji, Satbir Chatterjee loved your poem. So please, you can reply to our comments later. Now we have Anita Panda ji. She's saying, "What a divine, spiritually tinged poem, Rupali ma'am." So there are lovely comments coming for all of you. Please go back to the video after the live and do reply to those beautiful comments. With this beautiful poem, I would like to invite our next poet, and that is Satinder ji. Satinder ji,
Thank you, Asha, for
stage
inviting
is all
me
yours.
for my second poem. The poem is titled An Unnamed Bond. So, this is a poem of compassion, empathy, selflessness, and an unnamed bond between one human and the other when both of them are in the same situation, in the same state of mind, and how one can empathize with the other, though the means, resources are so few with that person who is stepping ahead to help the other. An unnamed bond. When the world turns heavy and the skies feel low, when grief fills the air and sorrows don't let go, there is a touch, soft as rain, that falls on your soul, a steady presence that transforms you into a whole. Like a lantern in fog, glowing so bright, like a lantern in fog, glowing so bright, a quiet support in the depths of night, a quiet support in the depths of the night, no words to speak, no words to speak, just a hand stretched wide, to comfort your heart and be there at your side. No words to speak, just a hand stretched wide to comfort your heart and be there by your side. Pain hovers like a shadow, towering and tall. Pain hovers like a shadow, towering and tall, but that strength with you outlasts it all. But that strength with you outlasts it all. Like a banyan, unshaken through storm and strife, like a banyan, unshaken through storm and strife, that offers you shelter, a haven in life, that offers you shelter, a haven in life. A listening ear, like the calm of a sea, a listening ear, like the calm of a sea, absorbing the seismic waves of your agony, not rushing to heal, but allowing you space, not rushing to heal, but allowing you space to pour out your sorrow at your own pace, to pour out your sorrow at your own pace. In the darkest of hours, when hope seems so far, a heart waits for you like a distant star. In the darkest of hours, when hope seems so far, a heart waits for you like a distant star, not to shine too brightly, not to lead the way, not to shine too brightly, not to lead the way, but to remind you that night won't last and dawn is not away, but to remind you that night won't last and dawn is not away. Life's true richness lies not in the light. Life's true richness lies not in the light, but in standing together through sorrow's long night. But in standing together through sorrow's long night. For in those quiet moments where words fade away, for in those quiet moments where words fade away, a bond is revealed that forever will stay. A bond is revealed that forever will stay. Thank you.
That was such a beautiful poem, Satinderji. It is said when we are down, a
Thank you.
little compassion is enough to make us feel cared and
Yeah.
give us that required courage to move ahead.
Yeah. The
So,
light
with
will
that,
also the darkness of
absolutely,
night will also be filled with light if you have someone who is extending his or her hand towards you in that moment of agony and pain.
absolutely.
I
Now
found a
we
lot of
have
inspiration in
Satbir
your
ji.
poem.
True, Anjuji, absolutely.
Beautiful
And we
poem.
have Satbir Chadha and Rupam Chadha who have written some lovely comments for you, Satbir ji. Lovely poem, they are saying. And with that beautiful poem, we are almost moving towards the end of the event. And now I would like to invite Pallavi ji with her second poem. The platform is all yours.
Sasha ji. This poem is a story of a woman, how her determination helped her to care for who are suffering with all the difficulties she faced. So you'll know about the woman who I'm talking about. So the title is Call Within a Call. Paragon of power, strength, brain, and beauty. It's about womanhood also. So, it's a story of women and her power. So, paragon of power, strength, brain, and beauty, playing significant role in building an empowered society. Women, the foundation of humanity, fighting the social evils, a shining beacon of hope, selfless and devoted, serving the poorest of poor, caring wholeheartedly for those suffering, endured the difficult time with the conviction that our existence holds a higher purpose, felt a calling to become a nun, born in North Macedonia, moved to India later. Agnes took her final vows and became to known as Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa's maiden name was Agnes. Seeing the devastating famine in Bengal, experienced all within a call, founded her own order, the Missionaries of Charity, awarded with the Nobel Prize, Peace Prize, declared a saint after her death, working for and with society, developing skills and boosting cooperation with self love and pride. Her thoughts, words, and actions. With her thoughts, words, and actions, she painted the world in the hues of hope, kindness, peace, and joy. Thank you.
That was lovely dedication to Mother Teresa, Pallaviji.
Thank you. It's about any woman who is, working towards the welfare of not herself, but society as a whole. So there are so
True.
many examples in history and present day as well. So I just chose this one. Yeah.
It's a very
And
nice
it was
poem, Pallavi. Very inspiring.
Very
Thank you
beautiful.
so much.
Very beautiful.
Thank you.
Again, it
absolutely.
is all
If
about
Mother Teresa
empathy
could
and
hear,
understanding
she would
for
be really
others.
happy.
Thank you. So now, as we are
Mm.
ending to our session, let me invite Asha ji for her second poem. Asha ji, platform is yours.
Thank you so much, Pallaviji. So now, because there were so many spiritual poems, so I too thought of following the path and recite one of my experiences. This poem is called Lepakshi. So, just a brief information: Lepakshi is a temple, and it is on the border of Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh. It has its historical value to it. So, this is a poem. Walking up the steps, still wet with the fresh showers, the little girl inside me struggled to stay calm and contain her excitement. Tried to stay sane as per the social norms, holding tight to her inner storms. But finally, she gave in. She danced and twirled, ignoring the world between the pillars through the corridors of the mesmerizing ancient temple, feeling the spirits of the past twirling with her and whispering little secrets in her ears of the grandeur they witnessed and the egos that clashed. The stories of gods and goddesses, the tales of curses and prophecies, there I was, dancing to their stories, to the whispers of the untold glories, ignoring my self imposed inhibitions. I felt free. There were no restrictions. Was that freedom? Or the magic of the ancient kingdom, when Lord Ram said, Lepakshi, rise, O bird, the same energy would have touched the wounded Jatayu, the blessed land where Lord Shiva and Goddess Parvati were meant to marry. Instead, it witnessed an epic disapproval and a father's fury, a king's anger and an incomplete architecture. It may just be a folklore, or perhaps it is history. Nothing can shadow its mysterious beauty, and that is Lipakshi. Thank you.
Lovely.
How beautiful.
And how beautifully rendered, how beautifully recited, Asha. It's wonderful.
Our recitation is
Thank you so
really
much.
That
very
was lovely, and we
speechless.
could actually imagine the temple.
Yeah,
True. And the girl dancing
The
between
girl
the
Beautiful.
pillars, I
dancing
could
in the
really, yeah, see
yes,
that. Yeah.
in
Lovely,
the
vivid imagery. Yeah.
very
imagery.
vivid.
Thank you so much. It is a beautiful temple. So maybe when you are here and you have extra time, we can just visit the temple and enjoy it. So I can see the clock is ticking. It's already 10 p.m. It was such a lovely evening with such beautiful spiritual poems and poems with vivid imagery, with Pallavi's environmental poems, and every emotion touched. And we can see that translate into the comments as well. So with that, we have already come to an end of this event. I would like to tell our viewers that all the poets here have gathered from different parts. We have Satinder ji who are here from Jalandhar. We have Rupali ji who have joined us from Noida. We have Anju ji and Pallavi ji who are in Bahrain, and we have Pooja ji who have joined us from Kanpur, and I'm sitting in Mumbai. So it is such a beautiful evening where all of us from different parts of the world, I should say, because we have two international poets here, have gathered to celebrate poetry, to celebrate emotions in poetry. And I would love to meet all of you again. And with
Yeah.
that, we come to an end of this session, and I would like to thank all the viewers and all the poets to make this a beautiful, beautiful evening. Thank you so much for
And
being
you
here.
are
Thank
a
you,
Thank you,
Asha.
wonderful
Asha
Thank you.
ji.
host.
And
It's
thank you,
wonderful.
You are a
everyone.
And
wonderful host, Asha ji.
Thank you so much. Thank you
Apart
so
from
much.
being a
Thank you,
wonderful
Asha.
poet, you are a wonderful
Wonderful
host also.
comparing this.
Thank you so much, Satinder ji. So,
Thank
with
you,
that, we
everyone.
say a
Thank you,
good
everyone.
night to everyone.
good night.
Good night. Take
Good
care.
night.